Do you want to perform better, think clearer, and lead more effectively? In Chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching, we learn that the key to strength isn't in complexity, cleverness, or ambition, it's in simplicity. In this lesson, we'll break down how simplifying your body, your mind, and your actions can unlock power you never thought possible. Simplicity is strength. Chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching. Not exalting cleverness causes the people not to contend. Not putting high prices on hard-to-get goods causes the people not to steal. Not seeing anything to want causes the mind not to be confused. Therefore, the government of sages empties the mind and fills the middle, weakens the ambition and strengthens the bones, always keeping the people innocent and passionless. It makes the sophisticated not dare to contrive. Action being without contrivance, nothing is disordered. The focus of our interpretation today will be about using the principle of simplicity as a source of strength in life, martial arts, and leadership, grounded in the yielding warrior method. Today we are going to explore a principle that might seem simple on the surface, but it carries profound power. Simplicity is strength. This comes directly from Chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching, which teaches us that when cleverness, ambition, and desire are exalted, confusion and conflict naturally follow. When these things are quieted, strength, clarity, and harmony emerge. Quote the chapter aloud slowly. Not exalting cleverness causes the people not to contend. Not putting high prices on hard-to-get goods causes the people not to steal. Not seeing anything to want causes the mind not to be confused. Notice how Lao Tzu talks about the world, and yet these ideas apply perfectly to your own body, mind, and energy, to understanding the principle. Let's break down what simplicity actually means here. Simplicity is not weakness, it's not giving up, it's not passivity. It is a repositioning of energy and focus. It is choosing to act without unnecessary complication, without ego-driven striving, without forcing outcomes. In our daily life and in martial arts, complexity often masquerades as strength. People show off techniques, overthink strategy, chase results, or cling to clever solutions. Lao Tzu's wisdom reminds us that true strength comes from paring things down to what is essential and effective. Example from martial arts. When practicing a punch or block, adding too many flourishes or thinking too much about each small detail creates stiffness and tension. By stripping down to the fundamental mechanics and letting the body flow, the movement becomes more powerful, more efficient, and more adaptable. The yielding warrior method emphasizes yielding energy first, then acting. By keeping your movements simple, your mind uncluttered, and your body aligned, you create a foundation that is stronger than any flashy technique. The mental component. Chapter 3 continues saying, not seeing anything to want causes the mind not to be confused. Here Lao Tzu teaches us that desire and craving cloud the mind. Wanting cleverness, status, or recognition pulls your focus outward and creates resistance within. Practical application. Start noticing the moments when your mind chases the next thing, whether it's perfection in your form, winning in sparring, or recognition from others. Each time, bring yourself back to what actually matters, to the fundamentals, to your breath, your posture, and your presence. This is a great practice to find that presence. First, check your foundation and alignment. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes, observe the distractions and desires that pull at your attention. Now let them float away like leaves on a river. This is mental yielding, practicing clarity and simplicity, which strengthens decision-making, focus, and presence. Next, let's visit the idea of physical simplicity. When Chapter 3 states, weakens the ambition and strengthens the bones, there's a physical element here. Lao Tzu links simplicity and moderation to structural strength. When we stop forcing, overexerting, or chasing complicated outcomes, the body naturally aligns, bones strengthen, and energy flows more efficiently. Here is a practical application for martial arts. In push hands or sparring, instead of trying to overpower, yield to the opponent's force and redirect it. Let your body move in simple, aligned ways. By removing unnecessary tension and complicated maneuvers, your strength becomes natural, grounded, and sustainable. A great tip from the Yielding Warrior method is to focus on 3 fundamentals this week: posture, breath, and root. Everything else is secondary. This practice alone creates enormous strength over time. Another application is simplicity in leadership and relationships. The Tao Te Ching isn't just about the self, it's also about how we interact with others. Action being without contrivance, nothing is disordered. Here is an application for teaching or leading. In a dojo or team environment, when we remove cleverness, ego, and competition for recognition, we create harmony naturally. Students feel safe, respected, and empowered to grow, which is far more effective than trying to control everything. Try this awareness exercise. Observe how you interact with others today. Look for one place where you can simplify your words or actions to create clarity instead of forcing outcomes. Soon you will become more aware of these opportunities and will find that things seem to fall into place with less effort. Here is a philosophical integration. Simplicity is a philosophical principle as much as a practical one. Laozi encourages us to strip life down to what is essential, to let go of distraction and confusion. Try this daily practice suggestion. At the end of the day, write down 3 things you did today that were simple yet effective. Reflect on how these moments created more strength, calm, or clarity than any complicated effort could have. This practice strengthens your mind, reinforces the principles of yielding, and trains you to notice that less is more. This actionable exercise, combining mind, body, and philosophy. 1. Choose one martial arts movement or sequence this week, or another movement practice like soccer footwork drill or the hand movements used in playing an instrument. 2. Strip it down to its core, only what is essential. 3. Practice it slowly, noticing how your body, mind, and energy respond. 4. At the end of the practice, journal or reflect. How did simplicity improve your performance? What distractions or ego-driven tendencies arose, and how did you let them go? Another optional meditative component to this practice you could try is, after your practice, sit quietly for 2 to 3 minutes, focusing only on your breath, letting thoughts of results, outcomes, or recognition float away. Chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching reminds us, true strength doesn't need to be flaunted. It comes from simplicity, clarity, and yielding energy wisely. By practicing this principle in our movements, our minds, and our interactions, we create a life and a martial practice that is powerful, resilient, and effortless. Remember, simplicity is strength. Yield, observe, and act from your foundation. This is the way of the yielding warrior.